Club NGMI.
We are so glad that Lou made it. Unbelievable stuff by Lou, dog, again. Literally, I hit the intro button, which is like 45, like 20 seconds. Lou's not in the show. And then, oh, look, Lou appeared. I was tempted to just not add him to the show to start. But Lou, happy to have you back. A little bit of noting up top. If my voice sounds weird, I have a little cold right now. Which is interesting because I'm scheduled to have my vasectomy tomorrow. So if I have a fever, I don't think that's going to happen. So I might have to pay like 0.001 ETH as a cancellation fee. So that's going to really put the bankroll. I don't even know what it actually would be. But yeah, so if I drop off, if I just start sweating, if I have a cough drop, that's why. Deal with it.
Make sure you milk that vasectomy for all it's worth. You get 1 day of grace period, probably.
Yeah, well, this will be the end of the vasectomy talk, I promise. But I'm being a good husband doing it on Wednesday because normally they do it on Friday because then you have the weekend to recuperate instead of taking out work days. But as Babs can attest, weekends are a lot harder than work days. So I'm taking the L's on the work days instead of on the weekends. Almost the opposite of vasectomies. Lou, you spent some time in Vegas.
That's some sort of transition you had there.
You're welcome. Can you give us a brief overview, a rundown of your escapades?
Yeah, so went with the Club TopShot guys and about 10 VIPs. We also bumped into another person who not a VIP, but is a lurker on the Club TopShot channel and Discord. I'm not sure if he's that active in it, but he follows all the guys on Twitter, and he drove out. He is like from California, so he like drove out there and bumped into us. We went to Summer League on Sunday, and spent a few hours there. We had a nice little group dinner last night. Had a nice view. It was our own room, basically in the back, and Club TopShot was what people were there for, but I was getting a lot of questions about Club NFT and us here at Club MGMI, and it seemed like it was a big talk of the town. How busy that channel is in the Discord when we were all really there for the Club TopShot podcast, how it started, but now all the talks are Andy's there checking his penguins. And what happened with the penguins since I've been gone? It seems like they went down a little bit. Not as people high on them anymore. Is that it, Dangy?
You love to see it.
We certainly hope so. So Lou, as you know, you were around for the special edition where we were mourning the penguin pump. We are anti-penguins on this show, I think, by and large, just because we're sad. We missed out on the pump. If I had a penguin, you better believe I would be strutting that penguin around. My kids would be penguins for Halloween. They'd be paying for their college. I don't know where they go to college, but Antarctica, where the penguins are. Was there anything in particular that folks were interested in from the NFT side of things, Lou, or was it just general NFT chatter about what's going on? Because obviously it's kind of in, to use a big word, in the zeitgeist right now. For example, we'll get to this later. Trey is offering an NFT presentation to what is it? Not septuagenarians, but folks over 60. So almost retirees, I guess, about NFTs.
Boomers.
So prayers up for Trey on explaining that. But the fact that it's reaching that level
should be fun.
Yeah. Lou, was it just general NFT stuff, or was it anything in particular?
Yeah, it as we saw recently, like Jack has gotten more into his avatar game, even as originally he was talking them down, and you're only happy about them if they're going up in value, that sort of thing. And Pete's telling me he was pretty happy about the Poggers, what went on with them. Andy with Fractional, they had that buyout of the ABC that we were talking about for a little bit. So There was a lot of talk about Top Shot still, for sure, because that's the obvious, like, what everyone there had some part with Top Shot at some point in time, Yeah, a couple of the VIP guys were, talking about they want to get into it. They're not sure where to start. This whole thing, they see that Discord just pumping out messages all day. So, in general, it was, I guess, just about the discussion that goes on in there and how it's always kind of bumping.
Gotcha. Speaking of it always being bumping, we're going to continue just me trying segues. We're just going to keep doing that. That'll be a theme. We're going to set myself up for failure. 5 minutes in the show, just keep doing bad segues. Trey, what was bumping this past week for you in NFT world? What were you interested in, minting, that kind of thing? Trey might be dead.
Well, over the weekend, I was at. Am I gone? Can you guys?
You're good. You're just a little. You're a little behind me. You're good.
You're good.
Okay, perfect. So this weekend I was at a bachelor party. So on Saturday we were golfing in the morning, and then that afternoon we were going out on a fishing charter. So in between, I ended up minting. I just hopped in the chat real quick, and it happened to be right when Incognitos was going on, and I had minted those the day before, I think, as well. So I sold one right before reveal, and then jumped in and got, I think, another 10 to 15 more. But it was kind of funny because a few of the guys at the bachelor party were like huddled around me where I was sitting, kind of watching me do my thing with, speeding up gas and, going throughout the entire minting process. So they were pretty fascinated by that.
They went to see how the sausage was getting made.
Yeah, they got a full-on tutorial.
Are they in next drop? They're coming in. That's what that means, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to onboard people. They're all asking, hey, how do I get into it? How much do I need? All that kind of thing. And it's like, really, you really do need, at least it's ideal to have 1 to 2 ETH. But, Babs was talking about it in the Discord today. It's so hard it's much harder now to pick out which projects to go after than it was even a couple weeks ago or even a month ago. So it's a lot harder to get people onboarded. That's for sure.
It seems like you have to go after dead projects. But those are what's mooning now.
Yeah.
Look at what's at 0.01 that's been out for a few weeks. I think that's the theme of the week. We got those Perlinis. Then today with the Cypher Squares, like, these are things that were just nothing, and now it's like a very delayed FOMO.
I didn't realize.
I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just think the risk with that is you buy into dead projects and they remain dead, right? So it's way harder to recommend which ones to go after, and usually the good ones are the ones that are major gas wars. So again, that 1 to 2 ETH gets you 4 or 5 these days, where before you could have minted 10 to 15 with that bankroll. Where now you're minting 4 or 5 with 1 to 2 ETH, and it's a lot of risk to try and recommend to your friends for their first project. Hey, throw 1 to 2 ETH in these 4 to 5 tokens. It's just harder to onboard people than it used to be, I'd say.
Tulips were actually a topic of discussion. Pete was like, "Oh, who is pumping tulips?" And Jack was like, "No, that one was me." Because Pete's like, "I have 5 tulips now. Whose idea is that?" And Jack is like, "Oh yeah, actually."
I was into tulips for the meme, the meme is memeization, because we've had those pop lately, and also just the dead project idea, and then being pumped and like being just super old. So Lou, what you were describing is not really old projects per se, but recently dead projects. So the Perlini story, they're Penelope's country club, and they're cat avatars, and basically they were a very slow mint at 0.08 for a long time. And then Carlini, who worked on art boxes, NFT boxes before, not art. See, my brain's already short-circuiting. This is going to be great. NFT boxes before, announced he's moving to this project. and has a bunch of utility stuff planned and ways to increase the value of the Penelopes. And then that day they flew, and they're still flying. They're doing a great job right now as far as holding the floor and having utility. Dan in the chat, fine, we will address this head on, and then I will get into the ciphers, because I honestly missed the ciphers. Is Dangy allowed to even mention the Perlinis while grounded? I'm grounded because, oh God, here we go. RIP the show, because I am actually nameless. So hold on, I'll fix that while I'm talking. But I am nameless Dangy Wing right now. And why is that? Because projects are just out of control right now. They are.
So you actually got renamed. Was this before the drop?
The drop is tomorrow.
Was this in the applied version?
Yeah, I am. Well, we'll get there, Lou. So the whole, I don't really like lore. I don't really care about lore that much. So I don't really read about these things. But the story about these 0 and 1s, which is important, because if you're trying to find it, it's not O and 1, it's a 0. Lou disappeared. Great. We're back. And I don't really understand what the backstory is, but their story is the community came up with the backstory that people became nameless. So let's just let that wash over you. What does that even mean? You give up your for an NFT project? I don't understand. So we, our guy Tig, who helps work on the show, he mentioned in the show chat, hey guys, you should hop into this Discord and chit chat, and then you'll be nameless, and then you'll get this pre-alpha thing, and then you can mint these early. This is when Tig has a great Avastars avatar, and then it's gone one day, and I ask him, what the hell, man, where'd it go? So me and Babs head in there like the good soldiers that we are, and we're chatting, we're saying hi, we're trying to help people, we're having a good time, and it's just the same platitudes over and over again. It's, we love the community, they're building something great. I learned what a weeb is. I'm not going to talk anymore about weebs. I don't understand weebs, but I'm just going to leave it there. We learned a lot, but then we chatted a lot. That was day 1. Babs, what was your day 2 and 3?
I spent 3 days in that Discord, actually trying to lose my name, because I actually like the project. I like the art. It actually looks high effort, and I know I hate saying that. I actually was Tig told me about it. I'm I actually like this. I'm gonna try and get nameless, because it allows you to mint 2 for the public sale. So I can mint 2 ahead of time, avoid the gas war. I actually like the art. I'm gonna try. So I spent 3 days probably in that Discord chatting, being part of the community, trying to help people out, and nothing. At that point, I'm tilted. I give up. I just can't. I have a wife. I have kids. I have a full-time job. I can't spend hours upon hours chatting in this Discord. And I like the idea. I like the concept, but to me, it felt like a arbitrary popularity contest. So now I hate these guys. I'm over it. I'm still going to try and mint in the public sale, and I'm going to dump it all on them, and they're going to cry, and it's going to be great.
So I took a heel turn on day 4, and I just said, I'm done with this. I don't care. They said, oh, you could do stuff like poetry. So I started writing roses are red, violets are blue, and just talking a massive amount of shit about the project. I equated them to Nexium, which is a sex cult. That was the celebrities were just caught into that in the poetry. And so I was just over it, just having fun, being an idiot. Lo and behold, in a little bit, I get a DM from them, and then hey, for some reason, Dangy Wing is nameless, which is, it just flies in the face to me of all that they're trying to do, which is build a great community. And I come in here just trolling, and then they like it. It's very weird. I don't understand it. And the cherry on top of this whole thing is, I am technically eligible. Oh. You made actual art? That's very funny. That's very high effort. I am whitelisted. They say, we'll DM this person with your wallet address, and we'll get you back with your profile picture. They give you your profile picture. Fine. And then they're supposed to whitelist you or allow list you. So I go, and then I go, oh, wave 3 is open. I go to try to mint, and I can't mint. But you're not allowed to DM the mods either. So we're there's a bunch of us just stuck at the gates of this place, just trying to get in to the pre-sale so I could make probably $3,000, and I can't right now. So we'll see if I can troubleshoot it before the public sale. I don't know. Otherwise, we're gonna gas it up. I think it is a cool project. You're right. They're very thoughtful, in my view, to their own detriment, because this is just next level stuff. I don't really get it. Trey, do you have any opinions on 0 and 1, or have any idea how to pronounce it? Oni?
I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce it at all. I did jump into the Discord when Tig mentioned it and heard about the concept of, you know, having to be active and all that stuff. I'm not the type of person that, you know, goes into these Discords most of the time. I just mute it. Don't even ever go in them. So I jumped in there. I threw a few messages out there. I was trying to be nice and kind, like you guys told me to. And after about four or five messages, I was completely over it and said, screw this. So that was my opinion of it. I said, I don't know that this is going to be worth my time or effort. And I think Babs' experience kind of proved my point.
So
Willis,
the game plans.
This is my favorite.
The game plans were going to max gas it and whale it up and steal them all from them, right?
Yep.
Like that's the plan. Okay.
I did say in there
But
early
I thought
on.
they
I
were
said
still getting them
they
without
are.
getting gassed out by you.
Well, they only get
they
two.
actually
Two,
got
though.
like Dangy status.
Yeah, they get two.
2,
Right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we get 2.
2 at mint cost or 2 free?
2 mint
At
cost.
mint cost. I believe they're 0.07. I'm not even sure.
So if it was more, yeah. So if it was more than 2, if it was, say, you could mint 5 or 10, I maybe would have tried a little bit harder, but just for only 2, you know, you're just basically saving gas, right? So what's the worst that gas is going to be?
Well, the other argument
mint,
is
I don't know.
16,000.
Yeah.
the other argument is if you get them early and you sell them pre-reveal, I think the floor was 0.7 or something at one point. So if you get 2 of those, you're making out pretty well. So that's the other argument. This might be worth the effort, but again, you know, time is money.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
That was my motivation.
Sure.
Was I that's one case where I converted the ETH into USD, and I said, I'll type some silly messages for that much money. Well, okay, I'll bow down. I'm also waiting. Who knows? We're still a relatively small show. By the way, an aside here, we hit over 100 subscribers. We hit over 30 days. What that means is we now have a vanity URL, which honestly is a big deal to me, because now it's not just gibberish. I can just say, go to YouTube/Club ngmi, and you get it. You can get there. So it's a big accomplishment. Thank you to you all. Thank you to the community.
Smash the like button.
Smash that like button. Smash the subscribe button. And then find the people who don't like it and then steal their NFTs, because they're not using any sort of hard wallet, cold wallet there. Okay, I don't know where I was going with Oni. So we will let's transition a little bit. I want to take a hard left turn. Has anybody dabbled in Solana before? Solana NFTs? I have not yet. I'm interested now because I am getting early TopShot vibes. Website breaking, teams almost literally rugging people of like, no, you bought them, but you're not getting the NFTs. We'll just give you some Solana back and stuff like that. I'm getting those kind of vibes from Solana, which is relatively interesting. So has anybody tried Solana yet?
Solana's been a thing for a while. That's what I'll say about Solana.
I agree.
But I think the technology wise, like there's a lot of good things that they talk about will be like possible. It's supposed to be faster. It's supposed to be more efficient, less gas fees, you know, but I feel like until we see it working, which your argument is it still doesn't work yet. So I think until we see it working is when I'll start digging into it a little more, but
that is not my argument. And that actually ties into my thoughts on Opensea, which is it's not working. And that's when you want to attack. That's when TopShot was just a money print fest of buying packs, and you could hit the back button and buy 10 packs while I was sitting on the outside, not able to. Jacob would be lying to us and say you could go to sleep and then release 100 packs that would then 10x. Like,
That's what happened with the DraftKings drop.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like early on, if you can find the edges, because people think writing software is easy. It's not. There's a lot of ways around things. And when you put scale at it, 10,000 people, 20,000 people trying to get an edge on these things that are 100xing sometimes, yeah, you're going to find the edges. So that's my argument with Solana is nothing against them or their NFT team, but I think there's going to be some holes there in the process. I have two things on my to-do list. One is to load the Phantom clip, as Gump is suggesting in the chat, which I do want to do. My personal plan is to throw about a half an ETH over there into Solana, just see if I can do something with it. Whatever. If I lose it all, I lose it all.
I think it's like with, say, DFS, like Super Draft comes out. Oh, it's a new website. There's an edge because people don't know how to use it yet, and we're coming from, it's we're used to ETH world, but I mean, I've used Wax too, and you know the general idea and how the market's probably going to work. It's just figuring out where to click the buttons at this point, right? And like you said, like there's going to be some people that they've been off of ETH. Like I've gotten some DMs that are asking about Solana. Oh, like this is the next wave, and I think there's going to be people that aren't going into ETH because of how much like fiat they'd have to spend to get in there. So I think that could be where it's coming in as like more normies going to Solana because they feel like they missed the ETH craze.
I always struggle with having to learn another thing and manage another thing, right? Like that's my struggle with wanting to cross over is like I already have enough time managing my Opensea sometimes, and now I got to manage a whole different platform, right? Like it's overwhelming for us guys with kids that are just trying to do everything they can.
Yeah, that's also why I pared back my Wax holdings, just because it's too much, and frankly, Wax has been boring lately, to be completely honest. So Kaju cards, there's a pre-sale on the 19th, which is great. So that's on Thursday, and then I like the idea of an RPG coming because we do like play to earn and video games. But this goes back to Lou's thesis: show me the game, and then I'll start buying stuff. Which we didn't do with Vox, and now they're showing the game, so we'll see what happens with Vox. Hopefully, those go up soon because those did not go up right after the reveal. So yeah, Kaiju cards. That's one from the chat. Thank you for sharing that one. All right, let's see. OpenSea volume. Trey, you are, as part of your presentation, you were talking about OpenSea volume. I know you don't have the facts and figures really up in front of you, but what have you noticed and tracked on OpenSea as of late?
I think I saw a tweet today that they're supposed to do like 25 million this month, or they're on pace to do $25 million in sales volume, which is just crazy to think about. I'm just looking at the numbers here. They've facilitated $1 billion in volume in 2021 alone, year to date. In comparison, 2020 was 24 million and 2019 was 8 million. So basically quadrupling their sales volume year over year. Pretty, I mean, it just goes to show, I mean, the proof is kind of in the pudding there. People are coming and getting into NFTs right now, and the sales volume on OpenSea shows that.
Isn't there also something where like the sales volume in August alone so far is more than all of 2020 for OpenSea? I feel like I saw a stat like that.
I remember seeing something like that too, Lou, and something around there only being 80,000 active wallets. Like that's a tiny number if you really think of it. Like,
yeah, and some people have multiple wallets in there. Exactly. You know, Carlini's got like 12 wallets or something.
I've got like 6.
Yeah, I have more than one.
I mean, okay, I have more than one, but I don't use more than one.
TopShot can't ban us.
Yeah. But it does speak to, like, you know, we always say we're close to the top, but maybe we're not if you keep onboarding people and more people join the space. Like, you always have that kind of runway. Like, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but at least there is some upside that way.
For sure. Okay. at this point of the show, here was the plan, and I'm just going to put two people on blast. I can't wait. One is Mr. Jack Settleman, and the other one is Mr. The. I don't know what Mr. The, just the. So we were talking about the growth in our Discord, right? We've had a lot of, as longtime listeners or watchers would see, white names, we call them in the Discord, show up because when they first arrive, they have white names. Then they quickly turn green when they start engaging. So when your first message is a certain tenor, we will attack you. We will be mean to you because if your first message is shilling a project, we don't like that. Go away. And I think that's great. I like that about our personal community. So the showed up and said, hey guys, what are we doing? And was just asking a bunch of new questions. And the agreed to come up on the show, and he was going to ask us questions of NFTs, and we were going to explain it as like an intro kind of thing. The is nowhere to be found. And he told us that he learned of the show because he asked Jack Settleman how to get into NFTs, and Jack shilled our Discord, which is great. That's totally fine. But Jack, your guy is not helping the show right now, so I'm not very happy with Jack or the. And part of the reason was the was just a good sport, and his username is the, and I think that's simply incredible. I love it so much. The other side of the, who's already he has a spot in my heart, is Tarzan Crypto. Our friend Tarzan Crypto did not come correct, and I think this is a sign of growth stuff in the space in general. Tarzan showed up. He asked about what did you mint, Trey? What were those again?
It was incognito.
Yeah, and that was the same time as just after Poggers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was team Poggers for whatever reason. I think it was just timing. And he asked, how do I mint Poggers? How do I mint from the contract? What do I do? How do I do this? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. And then he says, as his first messages, then he says, oh, well, I already sent a TikTok video about incognitos. And so I click on it. And at the time that I looked at it, it had 1,800 views. And this man is just hard selling incognitos. Like, this is the next coming of sliced bread on the blockchain. You need to buy this. And he comes to us saying, like, what do I do, guys? So we didn't take kindly to that very well. I had a thought, and I was wrong, that he was being paid by them to shill it because he clearly had a following on TikTok. He said no, he was not being paid. I was trying to just square the circle of, like, why would this guy be shilling this project but not know anything about it? So I think that's kind of bottom things, as far, not bottom things, but like mid-cycle things of just crypto people jumping over into NFTs and getting interested. So what are your thoughts on, like, etiquette in the NFT space? I'm not talking like specifically for us, because I don't think we would show up to an NFT Discord just doing that. Etiquette in general, and then also what does that indicate about greater market trends? Babs, what do you have? You seemed interested in chit-chatting about this.
Yeah, like I actually noticed the same thing. It is a lot of people coming from other, like TopShot specifically, crypto specifically, coming over to the NFT space recently, because, and I feel like a lot of it is because they hear about how much money can be made, which also at the TopShot top was why a lot of new users came over at the same time. So that gives me pause. Like, I actually feel like that's a little bit of like what you said, close to the top signal. But in terms of etiquette, like, if you're new in the space, the best advice I can give someone is just learn, listen, ask questions. Don't rush into minting something that people are excited about, because you're probably going to get wrecked. Gas wars on your first project, you don't know enough. It's complicated. It takes you a while. It took me a while to actually understand it. My first real gas war, I'd say, was bulls on the block, and I did not understand it enough. I did not get through. I did not get a transaction. I just didn't understand what I was doing. But you learn, you get better. So yeah, like, just for any new people in the space, ask questions, be part of the, if you're going to come to our Discord, be part of the community, engage, ask questions, and everyone's happy to answer, but don't just come shilling your project as your first kind of message.
We do appreciate poetry, so feel free to write poems. That's okay. I've seen a troubling emptiness of poetry in our Discord, and even art. I think we joke and say we're in it for the art, and then we look at actual art things. We're like, bah, this sucks, and we become art critics.
What about those haiku NFTs?
I minted those scribble things that looked like a 5-year-old drew today. Those were good.
Why were they good, Babs? What made them
I
good?
made some money on them.
People paid
Anything
money
I make
for it.
money on is good. Anything I lose money on.
There you go. I think that's right. Lou, do you? Oh hell yeah, guys! If you're watching the chat,
Man,
we got something brewing. All right, I'll get that set up. Lou, I'm just gonna not even transition over here. You sent me this in the private chat, so you go chat while I get this hooked up.
Oh, I love it.
yeah. So I was looking for some graphics, and the top graphic on Dune Analytics right now is about the Pudgy Penguins and its dashboard. That's just specifically one of them, right? Yeah. So this is basically showing the daily what's the floor of Pudgy Penguins. And as we see, I think we had them through that August 5th, 6th period. And then as we saw from the 9th to 15th, it went all the way up to 3. And that seemed to be like the hard wall where they just couldn't really get past 3. And then now the weekend comes and people are like, oh, Penguins aren't going to 5. So you got people like Jack who sold off of his. And then just people start seeing it start to go down, and kind of what we talked about the other day. Then there's this hard drop where it falls all the way under 2 the next day. So I think we're starting to find a little of that price discovery. And just from looking at this chart, I think it's probably going to be flat here now. I think that initial drop off really already hit. So, I mean, it's kind of what we were saying on Thursday, where it's correcting now and we can feel a little bit better about ourselves, I think. It's not 8.
The thing I still feel the worst about is why didn't we just keep 1? I had 16.
I did.
You did keep 1? Okay. Well, then
I think it was going to go past 0.4. No.
Yeah.
I did not.
amped.
I did not keep a single one past 0.06. Like, why?
No, I thought they were dead.
Yeah.
I want to find, or I want to make up, like, maybe I'll do this. I have an idea for this image. We'll do that later, Lou. I'll work with you because you're the image guru. Without further ado, here's the man, Mr. Willis is awesome from the Discord. Willis, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing good, guys. Just playing some poker and watching this lovely entertainment.
You're playing poker right now. Can you live narrate your hand? What do you have?
It's currently on break.
Oh.
So.
Oh, you're in a tournament.
Yeah. When quarantine started, one of my friends from college and everything, he has moved around a lot. And so, like, he knows a bunch of degenerates from a bunch of areas, and then a bunch of just, like, 6 of us that are really close friends on Poker Stars. If you guys ever played on there, really, unless you live in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, you can't play on Poker Stars right now. But you can do what's called a home game and play for play money. And so he created this home league. And every Tuesday and Friday, we have tournaments and stuff. And we just Venmo him money, and he pays it out and everything.
So Willis, you may or may not have a friend who may or may not be a bookie. And now you have a friend who may or may not have be running a poker
underground poker.
Yeah, I mean,
you have quite the aw shucks exterior, but then a seedy underbelly to Willis. I kind of like this. And that, continuing the transition theme, that ties really well into the seedy underbelly of NFTs. So Willis has dipped his toe into the water. Willis has a Perlini, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I believe.
Shout out to Lou for that.
Yeah, Lou hooked up the Perlini. We are the Penelope community in particular, because it's like our Discord helping with the Penelopes. We love it. I gifted one to somebody. I'll let them share who. It doesn't matter. I was happy to do so, to send one over, and then the price started rising. It's like, it'd be nice to have that ETH, but whatever. I already did it. So Willis, have you minted before?
Yes, I have. I have minted. I minted 3 things, and I minted 2 of them, or I minted one on the website first, and then I minted the same thing from a contract because the website stopped working, and then I minted something else from a contract when it was kind of in high demand. So
Willis,
That's pretty good.
Geez,
All the
that's
stages.
yeah,
That's the true
love it.
pro.
When art blocks. When art blocks.
I don't know.
It probably took me a month before I was comfortable doing it on contract. Lou kept pushing me, and it was just overwhelming. So good on you, Willis.
Well, see, that was the easy thing, Babs, is I had an instructional video that I had watched the day before I even tried to mint anything. So
Always be
You know.
shilling, Willis.
yeah, I mean, if anyone doesn't know how to mint from contract and needs to know, just go to this channel, just go to videos and stuff, and look for one from Lou. I don't know what it's titled, but it is about 10 minutes, and it is very informative and informational. And if a newbie like me can figure it out, anyone that's been in this space for a while, and if you somehow don't know how to mint, should be able to figure it out as well.
Are we paying Willis? I didn't
That
know.
reminds me. We
Okay.
well, Lou did in a Perlini. That's
Oh,
his
okay.
that's his
Right,
yearly
yeah.
salary.
Yeah.
So hopefully it moons.
Commission.
Lou, we need that emote, by the way. Once we get off the show, we need you
Oh.
to send that in. We need that emote.
So Willis, you never
so
said
Willis-
what were the actual projects? I want to know. You never said which ones.
They
Sorry.
were probably the 2 worst projects that we minted in the last week. So can you guess which 2 they are?
Was it Lucas, the wrestling ones?
Yes, that's correct.
Luchas and birds,
Lucas.
Not birds.
right?
Not birds.
Oh, not
Oh,
birds.
What was the other?
Oh,
what else?
Trolls.
Really
Put it in the chat.
trolls. It was trolls. Oh,
Yeah. I've been
Trolls,
very,
yeah.
very
The
vocal.
trolls.
about-
I minted the hell out of trolls too. I was
hope-
ready.
I have not sold mine for, very low ETH. I have hopes that maybe a pudgy penguin scenario might happen, or just anything.
The back from dead NFTs. That's the theme.
Well, I
the new meta.
also don't want to get rid of my one lucha, because other than the man's coin that I bought, when those first launched, it was really the first NFT that I purchased. So
Some sentimental value in it.
yeah, it's actually not a super terrible rarity either. So
that's
Willis,
kind of the bummer of those is they actually look kind of okay too, right? Like the art's actually good, and it's just that's the problem with you can't predict what ones are going to go off lately. I find.
yeah. I mean, what I should have done is I shouldn't have minted 2 of them. I just got caught up in the whole, hey, I did one, why not just do a second? So
I think in general that's the right play.
Been
though,
there,
is to
done
do
that.
More than one, because you're playing the rarity game with one, which is the problem.
And then you always
yeah.
you can sell one, hold one, right? That's the fun part is always buy 2 of things so you can sell one, not feel bad.
well, I think the thing was why I shouldn't have done 2 of that one is everyone in the Discord was very hesitant to mint them in the first place.
I see that to myself every time there's a mint going on though. I'm like, I'm not doing these. Don't like them that much. They're going to be dust 10 minutes after we're done minting. It gets to go at 70% sold out. And I'm like, okay, I'm in. Let's do it.
It's gonna sell out.
Yeah,
There's
well-
only 500 left. We're in.
Well, here's the thing: is they did not sell out very fast, so it was just not a good purchase.
I think that's a good skill to have, though, Willis, what you're doing right now, which is looking back at what you've done, changing your behavior as a result. We've learned to keep a moon bag. That's been a theme for sure, to leave one behind, and then hopefully it'll moon eventually. So I think that's a good lesson to learn. What other things are you curious about or want to bend our ears on, if you have any, related to NFTs? Anything in the world of crypto or NFTs that you're interested in?
I mean, I honestly don't really have much of anything. Like I've been in the Discord for long enough to where, you know, I've kind of seen everything basically, and like I just did not.
You're good, Willis. Trey
I
has
was
a
just
guess.
trying to see if that was me or not.
Trey has someone playing drums in his house.
Trey's tilting. I love it. Trey, you're fine. You're muted. I muted you. All right, Willis. So Josh actually has a good question. Josh, who stole my thunder of shilling. Can we talk about selling strategy? When do you jump in after the mint starts? I think those are two separate questions, Josh, but we can address both of them. I'll talk about when I jump in, because I'm relatively conservative about jumping into mints. And there's like two kinds of things. One is, there's the Vogu, there's the 0 and 1. There's just people start posting the literally shaking meme copy pasta in the Discord, and then you're like, all right, we're blasting off on this. Then you can mint, in my view, you can mint almost whenever, because otherwise you'll get caught up in fast gas. The other one are the slower mints. We'll call them the Dan specials, where you wait to see what things are going. You want to watch, we'll say in the Discord, watch the contract, because those are the more challenging ones, because this happened with the masks and me. They were relatively slow. Shout out to the night crew. We'll get to the night crew in a little bit. They were relatively slow, and then they started picking up steam, and then one person posted a tweet saying, oh, this person's pumping the masks, and then another person posted Kobe, COBIE, pumping the masks, saying, I'm buying these mask things, I don't know what the hell's going on. And then we're like, okay, well, send it. People are going to buy them. So those are kind of the things that I look for, which is the velocity of the mint, which is a little different than speed in my view. It's how many are bundled up. If there's a quick on ramp up in number of mints, that's a huge sign for me. The other one, of course, is social media presence for the influencers, because we're dumb and we'll follow what people tell us to do. What are some other cues that you all look for when minting and or watching the contract?
I can touch on that. I minted a lot of masks. We did. So someone posted Zeneca's tweet, the initial tweet that kind of put us on board or made us known, or made it known. And then someone immediately right after that said that Kobe tweeted it. And then I just went on Twitter, and there was a lot of people talking about them. So it's just one of those things. You almost have to use your intuition the longer that you've been kind of around and on Twitter and in Discord and other Discords. It's easier to kind of get a sense of, okay, this is really getting some traction, and it has the chance to moon even after, right? So I had a good feeling. I guess it was my intuition with just kind of the chatter that I was seeing on Twitter. It wasn't even necessarily the velocity of the minting. It just seemed like a lot of people were super hyped about it, and it was great that the art looked really cool. There was a little sneak peek before. The art looked great, and then bonus cherry on top, what was it, 50% of the proceeds were going to charity or something like that. So combine all that together, and it just seemed like one of those ones where you're not going to hit on all of them, but if you make good bets on projects like that, you're probably going to come out ahead in the long run.
Okay, and then I want to talk about the other side of the mask, because I think it's a decent example of what happened. Because what do we do when we sell, or when we want to sell after we've minted the things? Because when the price action that I saw on the masks were basically up only after the mint, the floor was getting eaten up pretty quick. After there's normally a churn right at or above mint price, where people are just trying to get out for a little bit. They don't really believe, they just want to get a little bit of ETH. Fine. And then once that gets chewed up, then it can go into price discovery, essentially, because there's no resistance anymore. So I had a few listed. I ladder, and I learned that one from Babs, really, and that's what solidified it for me, of laddering up for these projects where I mint more than a few at different price points. There's no exact price point. It's whatever you feel comfortable doing. I can't give you the answers to this test. Sorry. But I laddered up to about 0.4, I think, sold overnight. And that sucked because it got up to 0.7 overnight, which is pretty crazy for this mint that we did not know about until the nighttime. So, Babs, what do you do to help capture that initial frothiness, if you will, after a mint?
Yeah, so I think there's like two different parts to selling strategy. Is one, how quickly do you list? So that really matters. One, if you want to list immediately and get the first initial hype, people trying to hunt for rares, trying to feel like they're getting deals on rares. So that's a strategy in itself. If you list right away to try and get that initial hype wave. The other strategy is kind of what you mentioned, is listing in tiers. So I'll admit that I totally failed on masks. I have young kids. It was past my bedtime. I had to get out of there. So I couldn't wait for reveal. I listed in tiers way too low. I made profit, but obviously my tier cap was 0.29. So that was the highest one I sold. But you live and learn. Like I've seen so many projects where if you're not around for the first 3 to 4 hours after reveal, they're dust after that. So you kind of balance the risks with rewards a little bit. And, I was happy I made profit, could have made more. It was kind of more the timing issue for me, but those are kind of your strategies is, when you list in tiers, at least your dollar cost averaging up on the way up. You're making profit on the way. It's always de-risking a little bit. So that's my thoughts.
And then less than 24 hours afterwards, I'm getting offers for 0.24 ETH on my mask, and I'm thinking that doesn't look too bad, because I like the idea of physical utility in the real world that comes out of these projects, and this is one where there might be physical mask. I was reading the roadmap in between my first chunk that I minted and the next chunk that I minted because I wanted more, and there's a possibility to get a real wooden mask out of this because the artist is an actual mask maker. So that'd be a really cool thing to hold forever and get that mask and put it up on my wall and say, hey, that summer was stupid. I started a YouTube show with a bunch of internet friends and then we became real friends. It's very weird. So I like that kind of idea. We'll see if it goes to the moon. I don't know. I might take this offer and take 0.24 ETH. I'm not sure. Willis, do you have any questions on selling? Let's say you do happen to not get just the stone worst projects of the week. When you mint next, do you have questions on how to sell them or what to do right afterwards? Because I know for a while for me, that's where I sucked. Was I could mint, I could do gas wars, and then I didn't know what to do. So what are your thoughts or questions there?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with like selling for me would just be I don't know, actually. I haven't thought of that because I haven't really gotten to the point, to where anything could sell and stuff.
Yeah.
So like I know like if I want to like sell like the luchas or trolls, like I basically have to put it at like under 0.01 ETH and everything, because that's just what the floor is, and it seems like people are just undercutting that every day just to try to get anything for theirs. So
Yeah. I think with like the luchas, they at least had some sort of plan on creating a battle simulation. I don't know if it's the specific details of it, but I think when you have projects that have that being planned, then like selling it at 0.01, the second they come out and make an announcement that that game is in beta, and if you have one, you can start playing it, then all of a sudden it goes from 0.01 to 0.03, and then maybe that's a level that you're willing to sell at. But like 0.01 is kind of like, well, you're not making money off of it. So do you need that? Like say you have 2 or 3 of them and you want to mint something else that's 0.03, then I think that's sort of the way I would do it, where it's like, I don't like need the 0.01 per se, but if you have multiple, I think that's what me and Babs did with the penguins. It wasn't that we were like making money off of the penguins by selling them under 0.05, but it's more like we had 10 of them. So if you have 10 of them that you're selling at 0.02, then that 0.20 ETH, you could probably use for something else. So I think when you have like 1 or 2, it doesn't make sense to sell for that low. It's really only if you're selling in bulk.
I would
That
agree.
makes sense.
Good job, Lou. I want to pivot over to Night Crew and address what Lou is describing our hidden sections in OS. That is exactly where my trolls are. That is
You put
exactly
them
what I
at
do.
0.01 and click hide, and
That's
then
correct.
you randomly will get an email that says that you sold this item. And that happened with a couple of those big bucks that I had. They just randomly sold from my hidden section at like
I didn't notice.
0.01, under 0.01 might even be. I don't know that.
I need to go list some big bucks then.
That's right.
I think I was
Big
getting
bucks.
0.005. I think I was getting on mine.
Oh my god. So the masks were a Night Crew project. That was like 10:30. It was the tail end of when I'm normally like logged in.
Yeah, around then is when it
Did you guys
finished.
just make up that name?
Night Crew?
What?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a thing for like a day, right?
No, it's been like 3 days. Night Crew.
Did that start with the Night Kids? Because that was part of that.
I think it did, right?
Yeah,
I missed that.
Because that happened at like 12:30 Eastern or something like that.
Correct.
I'm kind of tilted about Night Crew. Do we have to talk about it?
We do.
It was the last thing I minted before I left.
I FOMO'd in on the Night Kids at 0.2. So I'm treading water currently. We'll see. It could also be a mint pass. So who knows? I wanted to talk about last night's other project, which is actually just interesting to me because it was Atoms, ATOMS. And what it was an NFT mining game, essentially. And if any of you all have been involved in shitcoins back in 2017, 2018, you may have tried to mine stuff. I was trying to remember what cryptocurrency was, but I was mining something on my really bad Android phone just because. It might have been BAT or something that was on my phone that I was mining, but I thought it was really interesting. So this was, you would mine and then you would find an NFT and then you would have to go mint it. And the website was a liar because it said, hey, when you, Keenan, I hate you. I'll address that in a second. When you get an NFT, then you had to go buy it and it said it was reserved for your address. That's not true. So I lost in a gas war in the first hour. Okay. So then I had FOMO because people were like, oh, that one's rare. That the most recent sale is 1.2 ETH.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
5 weeks ago.
Oh, guess I'm not sleeping tonight, boys. We're printing some ETH. So then we learned. What's the next thing we learned? We learned that the longer that you waited to get one, the better that one was, right? So then I'm thinking, okay, I just got to stay up. So I finally mint one at like 1 a.m. and it's one that has a high floor of like 1.5. I forget what it's actually called. And it's still waiting there to be sold. It's at 0.5 ETH. It's an ask right now on my side. And they were also 0.18 to mint. And it's kind of even Ponzi-ish because I get Ethereum from the next person who pays for one of these things on down the line. So Night Crew, we batted 500 last night. I don't know what tonight's going to hold because we're getting into Night Crew territory. I know the Discord was interested in us scrambling to mint something, and that'd be pretty dope if Willis has pocket aces. Well, that'd be easy to play. Like I want like off-suited paint. So like Jack King off that you got to think and play while we're minting, while we're doing the show. But I don't think we're there yet. So shout out to Night Crew.
Well, that won't happen. I am out of the tournament. So
what hand did you go out on?
I had Ace King suited, and I was a short stack in the tournament and everything, and there was a raise, then a guy re-raised, and I went all in as a small blind, and I went up against pocket queens, and they hit a queen on the flop.
That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. They hit a lucha.
Okay.
We'll call that a lucha hand.
Yeah.
Because it was a 50-50 the luchas would win.
I lost as much in this tournament as I did trying to mint a free gummy bear today. So, oh yeah, I didn't even mention that. yeah, even when I try to get a free NFT, I still have lost at the NFT game.
We need to find that like perfect NFT for Willis to get him back moving in the right direction. You know, he keeps landing on these ones that, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what this gummy bear one is, to be honest. But with the luchas, people hopped on and were immediately against it. And these trolls, people were like, "Oh, what's this? Oh, it's a troll. That's probably cool." And then immediately off of it, we need to find one that like is planned out. Maybe like this nameless one, even though that's probably gonna have a big gas war. But maybe we find another one. And yeah, that's it. We got to get him on the correct path so that he could start blasting off on some of these with, 5 mints, 3 to 5 mints. That's where we want him getting soon, I think.
I think we can get there soon. So we'll wind down the show after this question from Frank. For you veterans, how do you determine the amount of NFTs you're going to mint from a specific drop? Coming from DFS, it's all about managing your bankroll, etc. Do you view it in a similar way? I have not really played much DFS with a bankroll. I just kind of messed around here or there. So for those of you who have, do you view it in a similar way? Babs, I know you're shaking your head yes. So what are your thoughts on bankroll management here?
So, like, to me, it's all, bankroll management, how much you can afford to lose, and your confidence in the project. For me, I was happy to unload a lot of ETH into projects like Vogu and Amidas. I felt like those ones were less risk. Like the chance of you losing, 60 to 80% of your investment in projects like that's pretty small, where the chance of you losing 60, 80% of your investment in projects like Trolls is a lot higher. So I take that into account. Proportional risk, I'm happy to put more of my bankroll in those ones where I know the risk of losing, 60% of your investment smaller, and the upside's much greater. So yeah, it's bankroll management. As Trey said, it's kind of using your intuition on what you think's gonna succeed in the long run, and it helps you using more of that bankroll on those particular projects. If you put in the same amount of ETH into every single project equally, you're not going to make it either, because so many more of those other ones are going to fail, right? So you need to balance, putting more of your bankroll into the projects that are good projects. Trey, any thoughts? Like, you're kind of in the same boat. Like, you probably, DFS and pretty big bankroll.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. I mean, there's definitely been some. I went hard after Vogu and Metas, those type of things too. I've been winding it down on some of those, crappier projects. We'll call them the Dan projects, where he really makes his money, right? Where he just grinds it out. And if that's your strategy where you can do that, then so be it. But it's very time consuming and very risky, right? So, just kind of in my head, targeting the ones that seem like they have some staying power, seem like they have hype around them, and then just making sure that I'm putting more of my bankroll into those and less into some of those other projects. But I still think it's important to kind of, spread it out a little bit. I minted 4 Moondogs the other day. I didn't think anything of it. Didn't even think that anything would come out of it. And all of a sudden, sure enough, they start mooning, right? And I had a couple decently rare ones. So I made decent amount just off of 4 of them. So still just putting a little bit in those even crappy projects, just in case they do kind of shoot up within 24 hours. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
For sure. Okay. The only thing I try and manage the risk of is I find a lot of those crappy projects now, lately, you're just bleeding money, right? Like, even if you mint 4 to 6 of some of those crappy ones that are 0.05 each, and you're bleeding 0.1 every day, right? So, especially for the new guys that maybe can't take that risk, like, keep that in mind. Some of those newer projects, the repetitive, projects that just pop out up of nowhere, don't risk bleeding 0.1 ETH every day if you can't handle it.
Yeah, I think now patience is key, but that's hard because you got to be patient right up until you don't want to be patient anymore, and you need to just blast off. Okay, I think we should close the show on upcoming projects we're interested in. I have one in mind. This one, I'll add it to the stream. It's called CryptoPunks because Josh stole the other one that I was interested. It's in the Discord now. Go there. this who's laughing already? Who's laughing?
I was laughing at Josh stealing your thunder.
Okay. I thought you were laughing at my shill here of CryptoPunks.
I mean,
No. I was just
Unrelated to microchip, right?
Very unrelated. Maybe. I don't know. They haven't revealed microchip. When microchip?
What
Apparently
if?
this week? That'd be pretty sick. Get a pre-sale. But I like the art on this. Like, it looks pretty good.
there's
I know
also
this is
like no way you're getting one, right? There's only 500 of these.
well, funny you should ask, Lou. There are about 800 people in the Discord right now. So, I don't know. I'd say this is like a medium risk mint as far as mints go, which is every mint is risky, to be very clear.
Yeah.
Just because I like the art, clearly some time and effort went into the art on these, but also the Discord is not 1,000, 2,000 full of people really wanting to mint these. So we've got a few days for folks to get interested in them. I don't know. We'll see. I had to pivot off of my Tool of Rock, which is just a terrible name for a project, but it seems interesting to somewhat project because Josh stole it like minutes before the show. So CryptoPunks is what I have. Trey, do you have any projects you are interested in this upcoming week?
Did I hear that chickens are going to be back here on Friday? Or is it coming up this week? I had a few chickens that I had listed a long time ago sell this week. Just got the notification and realized that I had them listed. So that was nice. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. It sounds like there's someone in the Discord was saying that these are going to be better. Seems like these are going to be, you have a higher chance of getting a better chicken in this drop. So I'll be,
So should we
I'll
be
looking
selling
forward
our
to that.
chicken?
And obviously, that,
Well,
Like if
I
you
was
have
thinking,
sub
I'd love to hear your
95
guys'
score,
thoughts on that because, yeah,
I
I mean,
think-
I just have Dorkings and some 93s and 95s, so I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that because I haven't really followed along chickens. I bought them, didn't really do much with them.
So I think this drop has a higher proportion of Sultans and Ceramas, which are the two better breeds. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna get better chance at like 95 to 100 perfections, but you have a better chance at getting a better breed.
it's like getting a Nakamoto.
Yeah, and my thoughts on selling is like obviously there's 10,000 more supply coming, but also the price is higher. So in my head, I'm debating whether or not you wait till these mints happen and it kind of creates an artificial floor of that new mint price.
Yeah, but
That's my thoughts.
The new mint price is still under 0.05, right?
Yeah, but it's
What was the original mint price? 0.03?
0.033. And now
Yeah,
it's
I think it's 3.3. Yeah.
0.033. Okay.
The one thing to note here is it's in Matic WETH. So that's important because it's not just OpenSea WETH, which is different than Matic WETH. So you got to bridge over to Matic to get these folks.
Yeah. If you have Zed horses, you're already good.
Correct. Which I did, and I sold actually to go get into chickens the first time, and now I have more of a bankroll. So I think my personal strategy is going to be to sell my current chickens, at least most of them. I have one that I know this is weird. I really like this one chicken. It's like pink and it's very fast, probably. So I might keep that guy, but I'm probably going to try to sell the other ones and then just blast off on the other ones on the new Genesis, just trying to hope and play in the rarity game, right? I want the 98s, the 99s. One thing to note, I hope they change this, and I want to go to the Discord to find out. The rarity game was very easy to figure out in the end. It was just the numbering. The lower the number within the class of chicken, the faster the chicken was. That was it. So you wanted a low cereal, essentially. But it was a random cereal that you got, I believe. So it wasn't just the first minters got the best ones. So that's one thing to be aware of. They may not change it. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's a good one to bring up, Trey, for sure, the chicken.
And they had the layered was how the perfection score was. So it was, I forget the exact numbers, but say like the first 1,000 were all Ceramas, but the higher number it was, the lower score it was. So like the 900th was a 90 perfection, but number 12 was 100 perfection. So I'd assume that the data is the same for this one because they've already numbered them all. And then they're just kind of handing them out randomly, like you said.
So then the play might be to snipe once they get released.
It was last time, yeah.
That was a really fun. I remember talking to you, Lou, about that. Just
because we didn't know that they came out with the number thing, and we were just guessing at first because it wasn't popping up, or we didn't know anything really about the project until like day of, as far as the different names and breeds, you know, and what are these different, what did they call them? They all have some like
the ability.
Yeah, but then we're like searching through what's rare. We don't know what's good or not, because it could be set up. It sounds like it's like a Mario Kart type of idea where, I mean, maybe some things are better if you're a slower chicken, because if you're farther behind, maybe, you know, there's like anvil droppings, there's different bombs and guns and things like that. So like I'm excited for the game in general, because I'd love to see it
really
work.
Fun. It sounds legit fun. Like I want to throw an anvil at Trey.
It does
sound
cool.
like a great time.
It seems a lot better. The chickens game, you guys just talking about it, sounds way more fun and interesting than the Zed horses.
I love the year 2021, Willis, just for that sentence. The chicken game sounds a lot better than the Zed horses.
Well, I just mean the horses. It's just they're in a virtual race, then they just go in a straight line, and you're just, you know, if you have a horse in there, then you're rooting for your horse to be top 3 or at the bottom. So
it's almost a solved game now until they change the meta mechanics over in Zed. Maybe. I'm not a Zed person anymore, so I'm reformed Zed. Alex was in here cheering for Zed, so we'll leave that in there. Leave that there for now. One more thing, actually, I lied. Before the chicken drop, I went and asked the devs, can they turn in circles? The answer was they're not sure yet. I believe it was inconclusive at the time. Babs, do you have any projects that you're interested in this upcoming week?
I only heard about it today, but there's a playground art block drop tomorrow that I thought was interesting. It's called Alien Insects. It's Dutch auction, starts at 3 ETH. But the guy has a curated art block project, I think right now, that has a 9 ETH floor. So I thought it was interesting. I'd share it if I knew how to share the screen. Let's see.
I thought the rule was we're not doing playground. I thought that was the rule in the chat, but apparently now we're willing to do some playgrounds.
So here it is. So I think it's factory.
I think the rule was factory.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah. So it's playgrounds in the middle, right? So I actually think there's been some that have been winners. And this one, like, it does seem kind of interesting. It's you know, it seems like they have a use almost. It says, you know, here you can press 1 to 9, set the pixel density according to the numbers. It's part of a website you can actually use your alien insects. I don't know. Thought it was interesting. That's probably the project I'm most looking forward to, other than the 0N1.
You're just so mad at them.
I am. I'm tilted about it. I hate bringing it up, and I hate that I'm excited about it. But yeah, that's probably the project I'm most excited about. But I didn't want to even talk about it until you said it again.
Lou, what do you have, if anything?
Is that Shabu Town dropping this week?
Oh, dude. Oh, it was a different. This is so stupid. The different dog one. The dev where they said the dev is stupid. What was that one? Was that Shibu's?
Corgi once? I don't know.
No.
It was home straight.
Yeah, it was Shibu because I thought it was Shabu Town, but it was Shibu that said they fired their dev because he sucked and everyone was stupid. So Shabu Town. I don't know where that is. I got an email. I haven't read it yet.
Our dev's a dumbass.
Has anyone sent F to that random wallet for Shabu Town? Yeah, I'm not it's. How did they get 12,000 people in that Discord?
Because they had the fake. They were running a thing for if you invited the most people. So it was on those like Reddit message boards, and then apparently they had a thing with Axie Affinity where, and you know, maybe Sneaky knows about this, maybe he was doing it, but they were having like what did they call it with Axie? Their workers. I forget what they were calling.
Scholarship, scholars.
So the scholarship, what they were doing is part of the application of the scholarship, you had to sign up for that Discord. and they found these people, and there were like thousands. Yeah, it was like a whole thing, and they had the list of like top invites, and they had to put like the number that were fake in that total. It was, I left that Discord when they sent that I wasn't getting my bid option, and it seems like, I mean, if they're getting rid of devs and they're telling you to send to random wallets, I don't know. Sounds a little sketchy to me.
So
No
Shabu
thanks.
Town did not dump the devs. Dope Shibas dumped the devs. I don't want to be accused of this
Dope
information.
Shivas. Sorry, so
There's-
different.
I'm telling you,
There's
it's hard
three
to
different
keep
Shiba.
track of them
Three.
all.
What
Three
do they need
Shiba
the
projects.
devs anymore? If they already had everything dropped, it was already metadata was refreshed. They don't need the devs anymore.
Maybe he was a martyr. I don't know. You need, in public relations, you need to send somebody out to get all the flack. All right, Willis. Do you have any projects you're interested in, buddy?
No. Is it weird to say I have been going back to a non-Opensea project here recently?
Don't
Tell
say
us.
Top Shot.
Yeah.
That's the Top Shot grind.
Is it back?
A little bit. I mean, it's just, I just when you go out of our Discord, and I don't know if anyone in here watches like the they're called like Team Hold now. They used to be, I don't know what their name used to be, but they changed the Team Hold a while ago. But I've been in their Discord forever, and I always like love to watch like Mike on his morning or afternoon marketplace right now. I just always find him enjoyable and everything. Even when I was done with Top Shot, I would still watch just because it was something to watch. And you just go in that Discord and everything, and you just can't help but go on Top Shot. So
What is that like? Like, are they saying these are undervalued? These are going to pump? Like what is it, an analog to what we're doing with NFTs? Like, I don't even understand.
kind of,
It's a different world.
So their big thing that a lot of them have been doing right now is they are trying to find players who only have like one moment, and if they're like a free agent and everything, for all like the team sets for like collector score and everything, if that player is going to get cut or
The
traded,
bottleneck
and
later.
yeah, a bottleneck. Yeah. So that's a big thing that they've been doing. And then they just talk about just stuff in general and everything. And like all those guys, their whole Discord, they were there for the first part of Top Shot at Summer League. And so they got all the Summer League moments too. And so they've talked about that, how like some of them sold right away. And now I guess the ones that have held those moments are, I thought they were ridiculous when they first got them all and everything. Now apparently they are close to like $100.
Yeah, because
For them.
they only
It's
have a handful of them that they're even going to release. So it's just the idea. They have their own like type now. It's a fandom instead of a rare or a common. It's its own group. So I mean, I was looking. I was like, maybe I should pick up this. It's like Killian Hayes or something. I think was the first one.
Yeah.
And like that could have some historical significance, like the first fandom. I mean, we have the Maxi Kleber moments that I have are there because they're the first common moments on Top Shot. And so like that's one thing that Gary Vee has been harping on a bunch. Like these people are harping on the idea of if you can grasp some sort of this has historical significance, then down the line, like that could randomly get sparked up again, and never know.
That's a good point. It's like the crypto art that popped up where AMT was grinding it, and you wanted to, because part of the project was minted before the other original generative art on the chain, and it was a whole dispute thing. So yeah, I guess you're kind of, that thesis is variance of who knows what people are going to care about in the future. This was early, so let's hold it. But I just can't. I can't get excited about Killian Hayes. I just can't. It's not him. He's a great basketball player. I just can't. Like, give me Adams. That's weird. Give me the weird. I want weird stuff. I don't want a basketball highlight. That's my deal. I want weird stuff. Okay. Any last closing thoughts? I don't feel like doing the bag pump thing, primarily because I didn't look at my bags, and I'm lazy. So any closing thoughts, Trey, before we say goodnight? You can say no.
No, I think last thing is the curated drop on Friday for art blocks as well. I think this drop today showed that curated still's got its magic, right? Even though it's a Dutch. So looking forward to that.
Those are fun. They take a while. So as far as time goes of minting, they take a long time to mint because you have the time waiting for the timer to go down, and then you have the time to sell. So it's kind of rough. Babs, what do you have?
Yeah, it is.
You know, always enjoy hanging out with you guys every Monday or Tuesday night. So you know, with everything going on in the world, it's nice to take a step back and say, you know, we're having fun selling pictures of farm animals for thousands of dollars. We live pretty privileged lives, and getting to hang out with you guys and enjoy it is a lot of fun. So that's my final thoughts.
Okay, Babs, sometimes I can zoom out. That was too far. Don't do that.
Why? It's nice, right? Like I don't know. Like you always look at, like, you know, Afghanistan right now, and we're complaining that we might have lost some money on flipping some bad, you know, pictures of cows. So half the time we're winning and we're having fun. So it's nice to take a step back and enjoy it.
I don't think anyone sold a picture of a cow as high as you have in this group.
That is true. And you still don't like the project, which is the best part of Babs. That's why I really love Babs. He's got plenty of hate in his heart, even if he gets 8 Ethereum off of a zombie cow.
I never said I didn't like the project. Did you spend? I actually spent about 10 seconds in that metaverse, and it was all choppy. And I'm like, I can't do this. I don't have time for video games anymore, so I'm happy to sell that stuff. But I hope the game's fun so that people buy my, you know, characters in them.
That's a great point. It was a nice sentiment. I was trying to steer us away, and then you steered us back in. That's fine. That's fine. Lou, do you have any closing thoughts about Afghanistan?
Well, for me, I'm kind of playing catch up now. It's interesting that you missed a few days, and Coney Dog was with us after his large Roboto sale. That was a hot topic this weekend, but yeah, I was with him, and we like hopped in Discord at one point, and we're like, what are they even talking about here? And it was more, you know, on what day was it where the Wanderers were dropping? I like woke up and one of you tagged me, and I was like, oh, what are you minting right now? And I have no idea anything on these Wanderers. I think I have a couple of those left. I have to figure out if those are dusty. These cipher squares all of a sudden like went off today, so now I only have one of those left because I had them all. I had that dollar sell average posted, and I have one that my new thing, kind of like what you were saying with the moon bags. I list all but one because if it does shoot up, then all of a sudden I you know, with like the night kids, like it shot all the way up to my 0.4 level, but it didn't hit the 0.5, and so then it was like, you know, now I have this cipher square that they just applied to rarity tools, and now all of a sudden people want it. But I see that the floor's already come back down to 0.07. So what was great about that is that was a night shift mint originally.
Yeah.
Where it was
0.01,
the first 200 of them, or 210 of them were 0.01, and I had the last 10 minted in that section. So I minted 10 of them at 0.1, and then I get back today off the flight, and the floor is 0.1 each. So, I mean, I made some off of that randomly today. So I'm basically just playing catch up and seeing where things are at. Like alpha betties are way lower than they were a couple days ago. Obviously the penguins are lower, not that I have them, but you know, it's just catching up.
Prolinis are holding strong though. Willis, do you have any closing thoughts?
Just thank you guys for having me on, and shout out to you, Lou, and Coney. You three are the big three that have really gotten me involved in this space. Besides just being the club NFT hype man. So,
Willis, can you make money before you blame us, please? Because you're currently you're down. So we love you as a part of the community. Thank you for jumping in.
Technically, I am not down any of my own money. I am just down the gift and giveaway that I won and was given to get started in all this. So technically, I'm not down any of my own money. But
He hasn't redeposited yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
As they say.
And you're not down until you sell, right? You can always get that moon bag going.
That's true.
Yep.
Thank you all for hanging out. Thank you, Lou, for representing Club NGMI and Club NFTs out in Vegas, along with Coney. And we can't claim Jack yet, but Jack, he's dabbled over in our
Frankie
our
was
crazy neck of the
there.
world.
He was talking about the giveaway that he won on here and how, he made however much on that. It was over 0.1 because a couple of those things went up after the giveaway. So Frankie was pretty pumped about it.
I love it.
By the way, Dangy, I made the wrong call on the giveaway that I won last week.
Really?
Yeah, the choice between a spooky or a Perlini, and you messaged me afterwards and said, "Hey, you should take the spooky because it's worth more."
I told him to take the Perlini, and you said no, the spooky.
You give him a
man,
spooky.
Dangy, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Now I want to give him a Perlini. I thought it was a Perlini. I thought well, you already got one.
I gave him a Perlini.
No,
we're good.
It's fine. It was just, I just thought of it. I thought it was funny. So.
I'm sorry, Willis. Well, we all learned an important lesson, which is
listen. Either way, I would have sold it and put it into something terrible. So,
but God, still, it sucks, Willis. I'm sorry. We already know this, but it just codifies it. Do not listen to Dangy, for if you do, you are not gonna make it. Good night.